Welcome to So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and last week I did finish quilting this table runner. So I do want to get it binded, but I do have enough fabric all the way around the outside that I can take that back fabric and move it to the front to do a self-binding. So today I'd like to share with you some of the tips that I like to use to self-bind my quilts. In order for us to be able to self-bind a quilt, which means we're taking this background fabric and we're going to roll it to the front and use that as binding. So there's no additional cut fabric put on. We are using this back. In order to do that, we do need to have a couple of things. Number one, enough fabric to go all the way around. Another thing is we cannot do any of the quilting outside of our quilt. If these stitches were stitched outside of that quilt pattern, I would not be able to trim off this batting and roll this over. So whatever quilting you do need to stop right along that edge. The quilt also will need to be fairly straight. The first thing I do is press it from this back. This is just going to make it easier to work with, easier to trim. So I'm going to press all the way around the outside. I was going to do the traditional binding, so I do have a zigzag where I stitched the 3 layers together just to keep it nice until I did get to the binding. So in that case, you are now going to see that zigzag along the back. So that's something to keep in mind when you are doing this self-binding. Anything that is stitched on this back fabric, you will always see it because we will not be covering that little row. From here we need to decide, how big do we want that binding? We do have a few options. We can make a wide binding and leave some of the batting on. So we would be rolling that and we would have a big wide binding and there's batting in between. That can extend the size of the quilt a little bit as long as we have enough batting. But for me, I would like to trim that batting right off and do approximately a 1/4 inch binding. So I need to remove that batting. And I'm going to do that from the back side. So I'm going to turn that quilt over and I'm going to roll this backing fabric out of the way. And then I can trim off that batting. We can use the straight ruler with a rotary cutter. We can do it with just a pair of scissors, or you can do it with a trimming tool. I do have a trimming ruler, and this is by Hoop Sisters. And what I like about this, it is a rotary cutting ruler, but it has a little lip on it. So that lip sits right along that edge. So it keeps my fabric out of the way, and then I'm going to trim along this edge, and then I will have no mistakes in cutting that back fabric. And I will just take the batting and just give it a little tug to make sure that it's nice and tight against the back of that lip. And cut. Slide it up, give it a little tug. Check and make sure that none of this back fabric is here, and cut. Once that batting has been trimmed down, I'm going to be able to trim this back fabric. If you want a 1/4 inch binding, you're going to need to cut from the batting over a 1/2 inch. If you want the binding a 1/2 inch, you're going to double it. You're going to go 1 inch. Whatever you want covering the quilt, you need to double it in this back fabric. So what's happening is we're going to take this and we're going to fold it and then fold it onto the quilt. So we can do whatever size we want. It will just need to be double. I do like a small binding at about a 1/4 inch. I'm going to do it 3/4 inch. I just want a little bit extra to accommodate the batting. So I'm going to cut this background fabric at 3/4 inch from this batting edge. Now that this is trimmed, I'm going to be able to stitch that binding on. And I'm going to stitch it by machine. So I'm going to use a glue stick to help me out. And any glue stick that is good for fabric will work for this. So for the first row, I am going to take this edge and match it up here. So that's the first roll. The second roll, it's going to go right over top of the quilt. Now when we come to the corners, there are two ways of doing it. We can do that roll the second time. So we're going to match those edges right along that batting and then roll one more time. That is going to give us this little boxed corner. So you have a seam coming down. And there's nothing wrong with that. That works and it does look nice. But if you want that mitered corner look, there's one extra step that we can take. So that's our basic corner. But then for this side, and we're going to take that point and just bring it in. So the point here and that fold match up. Now we're going to be able to continue that same folding. So the cut edge is going right along this edge. And then the next fold is covering the quilt. And these edges are going to match up for that 45-degree angle. I want to do all of my folding, gluing, let it set, and then I can go to the machine and stitch. So I've stitched right along this edge. When I came to that corner, I just pivoted and continued stitching. I'm really happy that I can officially say it is now done. It was an easy way of doing the binding, and chances are, if you do not have binding for your quilt, you probably already have it built in with the backing, because we do need to leave a little bit extra when we're quilting. I will put a link in the description with the ruler with that little lip if you do want to check it out. And as always, thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I do have a newsletter. It's all free under Sew Very Easy. And be sure to make every day a Sewtacular day. Bye for now.